try to get my daughter like this class.
I like.
They got this. Talk to them. Bob Johnson.
For all of the. Yes, yes.
You know him?
Yeah.
I talked to him the other day. Glad. He's like my dad. Boy, you doing it.
Yeah.
You better stop.
Yeah, that's right. So we better stop. We don't break him of that habit.
You come over here and check it out.
That's right.
There's a much healthier way to do that.
Right, 12:04. We ready? Hello, everyone. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Back there. I'm afraid if you would lead us in the word of prayer.
Sure. It's once again, Heavenly Father, we call on thy holy and righteous. If not, thank you for being our God. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for life, liberty, and joy that you give us. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to bless us, keep us, guide us, bless the sick, shut in, those that are desperate. We pray, Heavenly Father, that you will guide the ship into the end that you get prepared for us. In Jesus' name.
Man. Hope everybody's doing well since last we met. Last time we talked about using sodium in our diet, reading labels, things like that. Today I want to show you a real quick, simple recipe, and it's mainly the star of this show is really going to be the dressing that we're going to make. Okay, it's apple slaw. Now, when you think of slaw, you think of two really main ingredients: the cabbage, green cabbage, red cabbage. This particular slaw, I'm going to use wheat kale chopped salad kit. I'm gonna bring this a little, excuse me, I'm gonna bring this a little closer. Now, in this package, it has green cabbage, red cabbage, broccoli stalks, kale, shredded Brussels sprouts, easy for me to say, and radicchio. Radicchio is a real tart, red, almost like a cabbage type lettuce. Now, the reason I chose this is because of two things. It's very handy if you don't have the time to cut your cabbage up. These salad kits are great, but there's one thing in the salad kit. Wonderful on the outside. Everything in here is the seven superfoods: the cabbages, the Brussels sprouts, the broccoli. So usually you see people just eat the top of the broccoli, the crown. Well, that stalk has a lot of the nutrients in it. So for a long time, I planned, don't throw that away. You can chop it up, put it in a salad, put it in a slaw, put it in anything. Just that you can use that. So don't get rid of that. It's very important. But what I want to talk to you about is in these kits, they give you a little toppings packet. In this case, it's pumpkin seeds. Hey, look. In this case, it's pumpkin seeds. Okay, and craisins. That's fine. This is the danger zone. This is the little poppy seed salad dressing packet that they send with it. this is what has all the sodium in it. Because these vegetables by themselves don't contain any of that. So when you're buying these kits and you're thinking, hey, I'm doing something healthy, then you go and add this to it, you make it unhealthy, or not as healthy, I should say. Because this little packet contains all the sodium that's packed in there. It's going to keep it fresh, going to keep it good, no matter what state it's in the grocery store. So I say to you, buy these kits, make your own dressing. Okay? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to take that kit and transform it. We can make the same poppy seed dressing. But it's going to be very much low calorie. Not going to have any sodium in it because we're controlling it. We're not going to put it in there. Now, to add a sweetness to this particular apple slaw, I'm going to add carrots, which have a natural sweetener, apples, which also have a natural sweetener. So the recipe, when you look at it in the book, and we'll get this to you next session, before I'm going to make sure you get all the recipes that I do to you. What sweetens this dish up, again, is the use of apple juice in the dressing. This is 100% pure apple juice. And what did I do? To make sure, turn that around. And it said, first ingredient, concentrated apple juice. So that means I know I can use it. The only other two ingredients in this is water and vitamin C. Perfect base for my salad dressing. Well, what else am I gonna use? I'm gonna take some fat-free sour cream because all the fat's been removed out of it. It's a good creamy base. No sodium. No sodium. Right? The other thing I'm gonna add to this is a poppy seed. Just natural poppy seeds. Again, there's no salt or sodium in this. You're not gonna miss it. You won't even know it's not there. Sweetener. That recipe calls for sugar. Diabetics, sugar's not a good thing for you, right? Stevia, plant-based product, sweetener, tastes just like sugar. There are other synthetic sweeteners that manufactured. This is natural. The less additives that you have in something that you're going to use, the better off it's going to be for your digestive system. Okay, so let's make this apple slaw. So first thing we want to do is take our apple. Got one of these, it's awesome thing to have in your kitchen. It's an apple core. Put it right over top of the core, push down. You got nice little wedges. Core's gone. Okay? Now, also, when you get ready to start making your apples, there's a little bit of section like that. You can see it. It's where the seeds were. It's a little pocket where the seeds are. You want to cut that out because even though you can eat it, you don't really want to eat that. It's a little tough to chew. We don't want that in our salad. So once you core the apple, just slice off a little bit of the top, put it to the side. The reason I want you to put that to the side, because like everything else, if we can reuse that, we're going to. If you're making yourself smoothies in the morning, you can put that in there because those blades are going to chop that up. Still good. This is still edible. This is still good. So if you make smoothies in the morning, all of this stuff that you take off, not the core with the seeds, please save it, reserve it, use it in an apple.
That's right.
Like that. Dice up some apples, throw them in here, and all we're gonna add add to this a little bit of lemon juice. I've been asked before, what happens when you add milk and lemon juice together? Of course, it's going to curl up, but I'm not adding the milk to the lemon juice. I'm just going to put the lemon juice on the apples. It's not just to retain the color, but it's to give it that excitement, to wake up. Remember me telling you about citrus, how it excites your palate? That's what that's going to do. It's going to assist in exciting your palate. And once you got apples, and I'm going to put some more. I just want to get this going to show you. Once you start that, this is so easy. It's simple recipe.
Yes.
You can add it to anything. You can add anything, accompany it with anything. So grilled chicken, salmon, any light course that you want to make. This can stand alone or it can be an accompaniment, a side dish. Now, once you have your apples sliced, we'll take lemon juice. And again, you're gonna see me just kind of eye measure things. It's because I've done it so much. I kind of know what the measurements are. When you get the exact recipe, that's when I want you to actually measure things out, okay? So, lemon juice. Add it to our apples. And if you don't have a bowl with a lid, you can use a Ziploc bag, okay? So take those apples and lemon juice, put it in a Ziploc bag. And you just want to really coat the apples with that lemon juice, okay?
Damn.
And once you get that done, you can set it aside. Now we go on to making the dressing. First thing I'm gonna do is take my sour cream. Again, measurement purposes, we'll get the exact measurements.
Lactose intolerant, what's the good stuff?
They make lactose products. Instead of the milk, you can use oat milk, almond milk, things like that, the lactose
Right.
milk, things like that. Now, the only thing that I would caution you about using that is it may alter the taste of it. Of course, if you use almond milk, you get a little bit of nutty flavor. It's not gonna hurt it at all. You just have that extra taste.
But what about for sour cream?
Find a fat-free sour cream that is not made. They have all those products on the market. I personally don't know one offhand, and that's something I'm glad you mentioned that because that's something I need to really research more myself because a lot of products and sauces and things like that are milk-based. So for people that can't have milk products, my go-to is just use water. It's going to be not as thick, not as filling, but it's still the liquid that you're going to need to replace whatever you're looking for. A little bit of skim milk. Put this back in the ice. And apple juice. With this thought, so incorporate right away.
That was frozen.
Yes, yes, it was frozen. Take that, let's get all together. Add some whiskey. You'll see that it's starting to cream. Yeah. Sweetener, Again, recipe's not gonna call for much, but there's so much tartness and bitterness in the greens that you have here, that you wanna add a little bit of sweetness. So you always wanna have that balance. And to start the show, obviously, so I showed you the difference first. Once this is whisked, I stop whisking it. See how it starts thickening up a little bit. But before it was more liquidy because of the juice. So it's gonna be a lot thicker. Okay. Just a little bit. See that? Once you've got your dressing together, go back and add whatever I'm gonna add to the salad itself. Carrots again, shredded carrots gives it that natural sweetness.
Question, how long will your dressing last in the refrigerator since it's not chemical, you know what I'm saying?
I would give it about a week. It would probably last longer, but I personally, if I'm making something fresh, I want to use it that week.
Okay.
All the ingredients, fresh ingredients, because they don't have those preservatives. As soon as possible. Again, you can use this as a salad dressing, substitute for a different slaw that you're making. And you can also use it as a base for a sauce of some sort. So if you're making some dish or something and you just want a little light sauce, heat some of that up on the stove, squeeze some lemon in it, a little dill, got a perfect sauce for any kind of seafood. Okay. Now, our carrots in here, and all the other ingredients. Mix that around a little bit. Now, in this packet, one thing you will notice that most salad packets come with craisins in it, little dry cranberry raisins. And diabetic. Yeah, these craisins have 50% less sugar. Okay, doesn't mean they're not going to be as sweet. You're added some sweetness to the salad. Okay. The carrots, put apples in it. So we got sweetness in it. Take some of the sweetness out, take some of the sugar out. Still remain that flavor, still keep that flavor, but you're taking some of that sugar out, which we don't need too much of.
Those craisins are better for you than just eat raisins.
Better for
I
you?
mean, I love raisins.
Yes,
So with that,
you can use either,
okay,
because this is just an offshoot of a raisin.
okay.
I'll put it to you like that, okay? It's pretty much a raisin injected with cranberry juice. I mean, that's the best way
You
to
thought that was
explain
a very,
it. There are cranberries, but for me, it's a raisin injected with cranberry. I mean, that's the way I have to visually think of this, because I can't see them taking all of the juice out of the cranberry. Dry it like this, and then they call it a raisin. Because it's dried up. It's called a dry cranberry. So, some of these, everybody okay with it? Also, nuts in that package. Pumpkin seeds. I say add them in if you can, because they add more protein. So if you're not adding an external meat protein, add nuts. anything that's going to give you more fiber in this dish. So you want to kind of try to pack as much into this as you can. 1 cup serving of this dish as it's made right here, 93 calories. That's it.
And that's with the dressing added on
With
to
the
it.
dressing added on, 93 calories. Now, just dressing on that.
Yeah.
Regular raisins that's in here, and use regular sugar, that takes that dish up to at least 200, 300 calories. So see how easy it is to make your own dressing? It took me what? A minute. Put that together. Wait until you taste it. Because there's a difference between regular poppy seed dressing and this dressing. Regular poppy seed dressing, you're gonna taste more of a savory kind of taste to it. So you're gonna taste the salt in it. This dressing, salt it. Salt it anywhere around. So as far as the seeds are concerned, I would like to add the pumpkin seeds because they do add a certain crunch to it. Is everybody okay with pumpkin seeds? And a few little cranberries that are in here. Yeah, good stuff. And one thing we don't have. Then I can get you both perfect. Thank you. We're ready to get to the good part. Have any questions? Comments?
Especially for those Johnny come lately, such as myself, what vegetables are actually in the bowl? I know did you use the packet?
I use the packet.
And what's in
In this packet is red cabbage, green cabbage, broccoli stalks, chopped up, Brussels sprouts, and radicchio.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
If I was thinking of having a vegetable plate, just vegetables,
Yes, sir.
and I wanted to have some protein, you're saying nuts
Yes, sir.
would replace
Any meat?
the meat?
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't matter what nut I have.
That's a great source of protein.
Wow.
The world as far as nuts is concerned is your oyster when it comes to protein, because they all have protein in it. It's just a matter of what you like. Right? Yeah, you don't want to use yeah, you definitely don't want to use them if you're allergic to it. That would be the only drawback. Very good point. I'll take this dressing and pour it right over top, just like we would any other slaw.
So how much dressing was actually made? How much did that recipe would make? How many cups or
Servings.
how many cups?
This would probably be about 10 cups,
Okay,
12 cups, about a dozen cups,
okay,
the way I just did it.
right.
Now, the recipe itself is going to be a serving of 2 because it's going to tell you to use 1 medium apple.
Mhm,
It's going to tell you to use a cup of each of the cabbages.
right.
And it's going to be small to
Right.
scale. Now this, I'm going to make more because I can take this same thing, refrigerate it, eat some now, have some for lunch with a little piece of salmon on top or something like that.
Mhm.
Have an all vegetable meal, something like that, you know, get some other vegetables and just kind of use them as my meat source. So use like a portobello mushroom as a sandwich. Don't want to necessarily drown this because then it becomes more of a soup. Not much of a soup because it hasn't been cooked. Again, first thing we eat with is what? Our eyes. You want to play to that?
Work for me.
Ready? For those of you choosing to join us online, there you go. Should be here. Don't have to take television yet.
You wait. You have top telephones either. Have a telephone.
Have that right. Or phones on your wrist.
Right.
I thought Dick Tracy was the only
Tracy,
one that had that.
everyone said, you put a phone on your wrist.
Sure. Folks, that's part of this. Time to enjoy this.
Leslie?
Exactly. I was gonna say, if you need to get old, like, you're young at heart, you can do it.
Sorry. I know. I just want to see y'all wait. Ideally, you have about an hour to refrigerate this dish. And everything kind of meld together. The reason I delayed the apples, because remember it has that lemon juice on it. The shorter amount of time that it sits in that salad, and it lasts. Okay, because we're gonna eat this now. If I was gonna serve the salad later, I would add the apples last, right before service. That way, the lemon juice doesn't take over. Okay.
They're gonna look at the whole thing.
And you want that tartness
Okay.
to wake up the taste buds. You want that zing, citrus to start the party.
Ladies first.
We'll be a gentleman.
We're gonna bless it first.
Absolutely.
I did.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, before you got here. We took care of our part.
We didn't have a blessing.
We took care of our part. No, I was gonna get you.
Keep it over.
Next lesson we're gonna have. It's all about meditation and relaxation. And that's That's what helps our digestive system. So, next exercise that we're going to do, you guys don't mind if I join you. Next exercise we're going to do is pray before we start eating. That gives us that sense of calm and peace. So you know how when we're about to eat, we always pray first. That's kind of our fasting session. That's our time to connect with God, thank Him for His providing for us. It's also a chance for us to give our bodies a chance to enjoy what's about to happen. So many times we're in this fast-paced world we live in now. We have these fast food drive-thrus, and you see people doing this while they're driving. They got one hand on the wheel, and they're eating something like this, and they're putting on makeup or something, and they're steering with their leg, and you're like, how can you be doing 80 miles an hour and controlling the car doing all that? It's because we've gotten away from, even when we're sitting down, we've gotten away from really taking the time to enjoy what we're partaking. So what we're going to do next time is we're going to practice a little meditation exercise that you start before you eat. All you do is close your eyes and you actually taste what you're eating. You know that there's carrots and apples in there, different types of cabbages. Actually go through your mind and taste each one of those components. Take the time. Before you realize it, the flavors will become more exciting to you. It will take over the thought that, hey, I'm just eating something healthy. You actually start enjoying these fresh products that you're using. You'll have to eat the whole meal with your eyes closed, but just keep them closed long enough to listen to the rhythm of your chewing. Am I chewing this too fast? Am I really enjoying it? Am I really digesting it? You will be amazed at how much better our digestion is when you're doing this. People will look at you if you're out in a restaurant and think that you're falling asleep. But then you wake up and you have the biggest smile on your face and you're getting more enjoyment out of this meal that's before you now, because you've actually taken the time to tune in to what's happening. It also gives your body a chance to relax, which is going to help your digestion. So instead of it being this rush thing, we got to get through this meal, and you see people that just shove their food in like that, and they got to get up and go to the next. By the time they get wherever they're going, they have not given their digestive system a chance to catch up. So guess what happens? Midday, they got to go to the bathroom, all unexpectedly. Why? Because they have not given themselves a chance to digest things properly. If you rush the process, it's going to rush you. That's the way we put that. Rush the process, it's going to rush you. It didn't take God overnight to grow this. It didn't take me any amount of time to put it together. It should take more time to enjoy all of the effort that's put into this. Guys, Chef Jeff didn't make this. Chef Jeff put this together. That's my part in it. We're giving thanks for our bodies a chance to catch up and actually digest. And then when you open your eyes and you're sitting there at the table with someone, have a conversation with them about it. Actually talk to folks. When you're in the grocery store and people see you doing this now, you catch somebody looking at you and say, the reason I'm doing this is because you see that right there? That's why I'm not gonna buy this product. Take the time. We named our foundation. Each one teach one. I firmly believe that. You learn something from everybody. And the goal is to learn something every day. I don't care what it is, who it's from, perfect stranger. If you only learn one thing about their life, it may help yours. It may help their life to learn something about you. So let's get back connected. Just like I'm talking to you, preaching to you about eating healthier, doing our part to be healthy. We got to share that too. So if you see somebody with that habit, you know somebody with that habit, talk to them. Say, look, I know better. Because I've had at least 2 meals from this foundation. It's not been any salt in it. And I haven't missed it. And if you have missed it, tell me you haven't missed it anyway.
Oh, Lord. One thing about this also is the texture and all, you can't just, a lot of stuff you just throw it down, but you won't help it.
Gotta shoot it.
Have to work this.
Yeah.
Gonna have to work this. So what do you think? Light, refreshing,
Very.
not too heavy? Something that can stand alone by itself? I have to share this with you all. I was pulling in today. Rory asked me, what was I making? I said, apple swamp. His facial expression was to die for. He looked at me and said, apple swamp. Yeah, apple swamp. Something I know you haven't had before. It sounds weird. Because when we think of traditional foods, we think of them only one way. We got to get out of that, away from that. Because we need to make these foods our own. Well, whatever our signature is. Because the more I like this, the more I change this. Like if I want to spice it up a little bit, add some chili powder to it, put a little kick to it, a little jerk seasoning in it, something like that, give it a little different flavor, different kick. I'm going to make that suit my taste buds. I'm going to make me want to eat more of it. You know, this whole milk, very inexpensive. You go to a restaurant, they're going to upsell you this. And instead of it costing $1.50 to make for a single serving, they're going to charge you $12 for a plate of the same thing. And guess what this chef is in the background doing? It's taking that salt. Because in a lot of culinary dishes, salt is the main staple. Watch cooking shows. What do? Salt everything. Everything. It may be, forgive me for saying this, Lord, it may be okay for one meal, but you don't want to make it a lifestyle. So if I'm watching a cooking show and I'm learning how to cook from a cooking show, I think that salt and pepper, or at least salt, has to go in everything. Because when it comes to the judging, and I had a good friend of mine that was in one of these competitions, and she is a very good cook. Very good as far as using fresh herbs and spices and things like that. She did the first little competition part of it, no salt. She told them it was in her bio. I don't cook with salt. So she got there, did her thing, beautiful presentation, everything. And I know that it tastes more because I've had it before. I know it tastes more. The judges absolutely destroyed. Why? Not because they didn't taste the salt, because they knew that she said, I'm not cooking with any salt. How can you make that judgment? You're not even looking at how she's affecting, how she's touching other people. You don't have to have salt in everything to make it good. I want to destroy that myth. Because that myth has been the downfall of, let's face it, our people. Because when we season things, we've always been taught added in more, and it has taken away from what you actually tasted now. tastes just as good to me. I would much rather taste the different components in there than taste a bunch of salt. I have that craving, because that's all it is a craving. Have that craving satisfied. I can do without it. Extra pressure. Any questions? Well, please come on up. I got plenty. I like that. Absolutely. Say it, would you like to say anything?
No, that's nothing I'm doing for you.
What would you like me to share? What would you like to hear?
How can you find these recipes?
You're supposed to put them on there, boy,
Yeah.
right?
Jeff, I'll have to find out where he,
Okay.
yeah. I think he may use them from American Heart Association.
You know what?
Is this from American Heart Association?
This recipe actually comes from a diabetic cookbook.
Okay.
And
You did say you were gonna give us the recipes at some point.
yeah, I'll make sure you get all the recipes.
Yeah.
This particular recipe came from a cookbook that my mother had. And I don't know if I shared with you guys why I became a chef, but the reason I became a chef was because my mother had all the heart problems and diabetes and things like that. And I tasted a piece of her candy and it tasted like licking this table. So, you know, my mission was to try to find out how to cook things and make things so she could eat them. You know, God rest her soul.
The biggest thing I can see that this would help me with is, you know, we're always rushing, eating, and you can't rush and eat this. If it had lettuce in it,
Oh, yeah,
it
it'd be
might
done.
make it, yeah, it'd be gone.
Yeah,
But,
not like a salad.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
crunchiness just slows you down.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Forces
Very
you
crunchy.
to relax
Mhm.
and enjoy.
Very good.
And sometimes my diet is more vegetarian. It's very vegetarian, and I have days, and I kind of mix it up where days it may be just vegan or it's vegetarian. And I still enjoy fish tremendously and still have my weakness for natural cheeses. And you notice I said natural cheeses,
Yeah.
not processed. I don't eat anything, well, no, I have to take this because there are some vegan plant-based foods that are processed and I have to be careful. So I'll buy my own tofu and prepare it myself. I'm big on vegetables. I love vegetables. Just never had a problem as I was growing up eating vegetables at all. And I learned how to prepare them in so many different ways. And so you have so many methods, so many blending, just like Linda shared about her dish with squash and zucchini. So it's easy. You can use your imagination when you cook. My son had my son had such an imagination when it came to the kitchen. And because kids, your grandkids, you have them in the kitchen with you, and it will open up so a world of imagination in terms of what they can do, because they want to prove that they can cook really well. And you give them tasks. You know, ask them what would they like to prepare to cook or prepare to help you prepare something. The first thing I learned how to cook was a cake. I remember that it was a cake. And yes, and I don't know what I did, but it turned out to be this crater of a cake. And I was just like, what? How did I do that? Not paying attention. It's like my cake didn't look like my mom's big 3-layer cakes. So it was just, okay, I tried on my own and okay, it failed, but practice and more practice, it made perfect. And that's what it did. And those are the things that I taught my son to do. My son, when he graduated from college, he was recruited to work for a restaurant as a sous chef. No, actually, they hired him as a line cook. right out of University of Maryland. They hired him as a line cook. That only lasted one day. The executive chef and the owner of the restaurant said, no, he's talented. So he,
go to culinary school.
well, for University of Maryland, he studied, his degree is in hospitality and tourism management. And he also studied business management. So his whole thing was wanting still to learn to run his own restaurant. So he did start his own plant-based catering business. So he did that, but right out of college, so what they did was the line cook job, that only lasted one day. And the owner and executive chef actually promoted him to be a grill master. I think I have that correctly, grill master.
Yes.
And they had him, and they just loved his food. And again, he wasn't even doing vegan, nothing plant-based at the time. So he lasted for the restaurant before he was asked to a chef position for a new restaurant in DC. So he left the restaurant, and the owner and the executive chef posted a great message about him and his work.
I'll
So,
tell you, if he was here, I hire him on the spot.
yeah, he's
He would
very
not-
professional.
He would not get a chance to work for anybody.
He will hire you.
Yeah, he's great. I just,
You told me there's gonna be one in every crowd.
yes, trouble, that's trouble.
Not trouble. He's his best friend.
My best friend in the whole wide world.
I love to cook. Like Jeff took his to a whole professional level. Me, I love to cook. And I do love to cook healthy food. And it's nothing for me because it's such a practice. So, and I learned a lot from my mom. She's a vegan. She's been a vegan for over 30 years. And we learned how to read labels when the kids were growing up. But we know how to prepare everything by scratch.
And her mom was baking. The way she bakes, baked goods, I should say.
Yeah, she has award-winning brownies. State of Maryland, actually. Yes, so
I mean, to die for. I'll probably have enough. Again, I want you guys to start thinking about specific things that you want to learn how to cook. I can come up with 1,000 different recipes. I want to know, what do you cook at home that you want to cook better? What do you cook for your families? What does someone serve to you that you want to say to them, I love you? No disrespect. Don't have to say better. Say healthy. Because just like little kids, and Angela knows this, when we had our summer camp, you gotta ease them into stuff. You can't give it to them all at once. Because it'll go in one ear and out the other. It's overwhelming. Learning something new, change. We're all afraid of it. I was. Just weighed 235 pounds. 5 years ago. Not been an inch or an ounce over 200 in those years. And it's not because I'm on some miracle kind of diet. It's because when I went to the doctor, he told me that I had sarcoidosis. I'm like, what's that? He told me it's an inflammatory arthritic type disease, and it's going to affect you if you carry a lot of weight. What affects this, there's no cure for it, but we can treat it. So what are you gonna treat it with? He said steroids. I'm like,
No.
Because I was one of those patients that started taking it, didn't like the way it made me feel, and I stopped completely, cold turkey. That's not what you're supposed to do with that type of drug. You're supposed to wean yourself off of that drug. Well, I didn't know that. The doctor didn't tell me that. That was strike one. Strike two was, why did you not inform me that there was an alternative that I could take, that I could do? And that's called health management. Not what he wanted me. He didn't want me to know about that. He wanted me to keep coming back for more visits. He wanted to keep giving me whatever pharmaceutical company rep came in and gave me the best deal. He wanted to give me that last this time. So I'm like, Jeff, come on. You're chef. Think about, find out about, research about, discover about what's going to help you to eliminate the arthritis, to help your joints get that cartilage, make it stronger. It was up to me to do that. I didn't want some synthetic medicine that I had to take for the rest of my life. That's doing more damage than good. The reason I was that heavy was because I was taking that medication. Well, it made me go for mood swings. I eat at all kinds of times. My appetite was just all over the place. I literally had no control over it. And then I was working long, crazy hours on top of all that. So resting, letting my body digest. I was on the go. Got to go to the next thing. Got to go to the next job. Got to eat this while I'm cooking. Nothing escaped me until I said, okay, well, help me. It's a better way. I know it is. It's a better way. And I found out it was much more expensive to keep doing the things that I was doing, the way I was eating, the times I was eating, what I was putting in my body. It's way more expensive to do things that way than it was for me to start putting in good stuff. That cost a little more at the beginning because that's what I didn't know what I was doing. I just go buy all AME products. Taking the time to take those vegetables, cut them up, use them different ways. Use them in different ways. Things like chicken on Sundays. You know, how can I take Sunday dinner and extend it to Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? I got tired of seeing, leftovers that we had. Stay in the refrigerator so long that you get used to it. I got tired of telling myself, there are people out here starving that would absolutely kill for what you're throwing away. Everybody in other countries, they don't have nice Harris Teeters and Sam's Marts and all these other kind of wholesale places that they go to. How is it that when you see the picture of an African village, you got elders there that are 100 years old? It's because they're not filling their bodies full of products that have preservatives. They go out in the field, they grow what they need. They raise the animals that they need. And they take those same recipes that have been handed down for generations, generations, and generations, and they use them to sustain their lives. They don't have a whole lot of doctors there with all this equipment and stuff like that. They use what's natural. So when you see these commercials and you see these products and they come on and say, well, yeah, we went down in the deepest, darkest roots of Africa and we found a UV plant. And it is God's next greatest creation. But guess what? We're going to take that plant and we'll now put it into our nice little package. And they flip that around And it's got the nice picture of the UV plant here and, you know, some guys like this, you know. But you turn around and you say, well, the very last ingredient is that plant. What in the world is helping me in this bottle now? We're not helping anything but that manufacturer's pocket. They don't care about us. They care about how much sodium you put in your body. No, they want to sell their product. That's what they're in business for. I'm not here to put them out of business. I want them to thrive. I want everyone to prosper, but I want us to prosper more than I want them to prosper. And if we can prosper more by going to our local farmers markets, questioning the produce guy, you see that stream of water start falling down and you start laughing, tell them you didn't trick me. I want to know where the fresh stuff is, not the wet stuff, the fresh stuff. Make them talk to you. I'm a carnivore, I eat meat. I wish I could be a vegetarian. Seriously, I do, because sometimes I do know that the effect of meat and what it's doing to my body, so I don't eat it excessively. That's the key to everything, is moderation. I'm not standing up here telling you to cut out everything that you're used to. That's ridiculous. That's an unfair thing to ask somebody to do. But I can ask you to gradually, over time, take out the bad habits, replace them with good habits. Let's preserve whatever life we have, because tomorrow's not promised. Last year, was a particularly tough year for me. I lost my father, lost my sister 2 months out after that. I found out my best friend that I played ball with every day, pretty much of our lives, from the time that we could walk, had to have both of his legs amputated.
Wow.
A lot of their problems came from what they were eating, habits that they would not change, things that they could have done to improve their lives. My best friend died in February, a year to the date that my father died. 2 strong influences, male influences in my life, were taken away from me for something that they had pretty much control over, they could have helped out with. That strengthens my purpose. That strengthens my resilience, my resolve to make sure that I'm going to do everything that I can do to make sure that I do my part, so I don't have to go to the doctor as much. So now when I go to my doctor, I do my annual checkup, yearly checkup, he's saying, wow, looking at your chart, because you know they got everything on the computer now. Man, looking at your charts, you know, man, changed in 5 years. Isn't that what you want? You sound a little disappointed. What are you doing differently? I'm doing the same thing I started doing 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Only thing I'm doing is improving what I'm doing. Because I try not to eat any later than 8 o'clock. Because that's my guideline for my body. I don't get 8 hours of sleep at night. So if I eat past 8 o'clock, and I don't give my body that amount of time to digest it, it's gonna be sitting right here in the morning. I'm not gonna want to get up, I'll be sluggish, and I'm gonna pack some things on top of that. So I had to learn my system. So that's why when people ask me, well, Chef, how much should I? You have to answer that question. Excuse me. What I have to do is learn what's best to put in it. Just like when you go to the doctor, first thing they're gonna ask you is, what's wrong? When you go to the doctor, what you tell me what's wrong? He's gonna look at you like, well, I can't tell you if you don't tell me what's going on. So to just wake up and say, oh, I got my leftover weight. Okay, did you hit it on something? Does it always hurt? Does it hurt in the morning? Does it hurt at night? Does it hurt when you eat certain foods? We have to come in with that information and that knowledge. That way, we don't wind up with a pharmacy on our kitchen table in the morning that we gotta take before we get our day started. Some medicines are necessities. Some are necessities. If there's a better way, a more natural way to accomplish the same thing, I beg you to try it. Because just like that refined salt and all that other refined stuff I've been talking about, if it ain't natural, it has to be made of plastic. This plant will stay here forever. No water needed. Bring a live plant in here. You gotta give it some love and some care and some attention. Your body is like a live plant. Is this what you want to be? Your body, the best. And you'll be just like that plant. You'll look pretty. You'll be pretty in the casket. You'll be well preserved. But you'll be stiff like this. And just another plastic plant. That's not what we're here for. We're all very unique. That is it for today, folks. All that I have to share for this moment. I thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you for coming, sharing with us.
Thank you all also for allowing me to share that little private time. Yes. Because that's how important this is to me. So believe me, I'm not just up here just talking. It comes from the heart.
If you visit our website, we share our drive for having the foundation and the work that we do for it.
Much needed. Much needed, especially in the food starving communities that we have. You know, we all just take the time to go out there and reach out and help somebody else. Let them figure out that if we do this with one another instead of at one another, we can accomplish something. Because it is stressful enough. Every day you turn on TV, you hear about a new virus, new variant of the virus. That's the new thing now. Everybody wants to out-sick everybody else.
You know, one thing I noticed when you go to the doctor, you get a prescription, you get it filled, and the first line is what it will do to help you. And this much. So I try not to do those.
I love that. Prime example, and again, you call me with my mouth full. Prime example is, I'm gonna leave you guys with this. If you watch commercials, excuse me, nowadays about the medicines, and they got the people running through the field, you know, find a kayak, walking a dog, and they're talking about this person has breathing problems, some type of asthma or something like that. And you see this person out walking and they're having a good time, and you can listen to the whole commercial. You see all this bright happiness and sunshine, and they got the medicine up there, the bright letters, and you know, this person is smiling, you know, and you wait till the very end. And say, these are the possible side effects. You might lose your breath, lose your hair, can't see, you won't be able to walk, muscles will twitch. But guess what? You'll be able to breathe a little bit better. They cause heart problems, diarrhea, upset stomach. Okay.
Right, could cause this.
That's the last one they put in there. And oh, by the way, it could kill you, but you'll breathe good until you're not breathing. They all
always add that at the very end. They always throw that guy in there that talks. Blah, 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 blah. Why do they do that? It's because they're required to.
Mhm.
Just like that label is now required. Have everything that's in this bottle listed on this label. What order they listed in, how much they tell you of it is in here. Fair game. Says 100% lemon juice. From concentrate.
It wasn't concentrated.
Bingo. That's why you turn the bottle around and drink it. Because real lemon juice, the one that says real lemon on it, has less than this stuff. Less actual real juice in it than this stuff. That's the way you do it, just like you said. Take God's creation. Want some lemon juice? Get it. That's about as much concentrate as you need. Concentrate on not cutting your fingers off. Again, thank you, folks.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jeff?
We'll see you again.
See you
I
next
think the
time.
Next date is next month. But I promise you we'll be here. We'll be here. Bye, everybody online.